The kitchen is quiet in the morning. Maybe the house is still dim. Maybe there is only a thin line of light at the edge of the curtains, or the soft hum of the refrigerator, or the small sound of a cabinet door opening before the day has fully begun. And there you are, standing in that half-light after a night that did not give you what you needed. You did not plan to wake up hungry. You did not plan for toast to look unusually comforting, or cereal to seem brighter than it should, or something sweet to have a kind of gravity around it. You may not even feel fully awake yet, and still, the body is already asking. Not politely, perhaps. Not in the small, steady way it might ask after a deep night of sleep, but with a louder signal, a signal that says, something is missing. Find energy. Find something quick. Find something that will help us get through this day. And if you have ever noticed this in yourself, after a restless night, a too short night, a night broken into pieces, you may have wondered whether it was simply a lack of discipline, whether you were weaker that morning, whether the cravings meant something about your character. But the science of sleep tells a gentler story. It tells us that after poor sleep, hunger is not only a thought, it is not only a habit, it is not only a choice appearing out of nowhere. It is a message coming from a body whose overnight calibration was interrupted. A body that began the day with some signals turned down, some turned up, and some made harder to interpret. Think of sleep for a moment as the quiet technician of the appetite system. All night, while the conscious mind is away, the body is meant to check its instruments. It measures stored energy. It adjusts hormones. It steadies blood sugar. It lowers some forms of alertness and restores others. It prepares the brain to read the next day with clarity. And when sleep is shortened or fragmented or pulled too thin, the dashboard can look different in the morning. The light that says enough may glow more softly. The light that says find food may shine more brightly. The reward circuits may make fast energy appear more appealing. And the quiet parts of the brain that usually help weigh a decision may feel a little more distant, as if they are speaking from the back of the room. This is the central story of tonight's journey. Poor sleep can make food feel louder the next day, not because the body is broken, not because the person has failed, but because the body was built to protect energy, preserve alertness, and solve the problem it believes it has been given. A tired body often reads the world as a higher demand world. It has spent more time awake. It may have missed some of the restorative work that usually happens in the dark. It may begin the morning with appetite chemistry shifted towards seeking rather than settling. And in the modern world, where fast food signals are everywhere, where sweetness and starch and fat are easy to find, that reasonable biological request can overshoot. The body asks for help. The environment offers more than help. And somewhere between the signal and the surroundings, hunger begins to feel less like a quiet need and more like a pull. Tonight, we are going to follow that pull calmly, not to judge it, not to turn it into a diet rule, not to make the night feel heavy with warning, only to understand it. Because understanding changes the way the body feels. It can turn shame into information. It can turn a craving into a clue. It can turn the morning after poor sleep into something less mysterious, less personal, and less frightening. If you spent a night with the story of cortisol and the body staying on guard, this is one of the morning after echoes. Not the same story, not a return to the whole stress system, just a quiet thread from one night into the next day. When the body has been kept alert, when it has not fully stood down, the morning can carry traces of that unfinished work. The body may feel more urgent, the mind may feel less steady. And food, especially quick energy, may begin to look like a solution. So we begin here in the quiet kitchen. The refrigerator light comes on. The room is still. And inside the body, the appetite dashboard is trying to make sense of a night that was not complete. One of the first lights on that dashboard is leptin. Leptin is often described as part of the body's fullness, or enough signal. It is released mainly from fat tissue, and it helps communicate to the brain that energy is available. It does not work like a simple switch. The body is never that simple. It is more like one voice in a larger conversation, but it is an important voice. When leptin signaling is steady, the brain receives part of the message that the body is not empty, not desperate, not needing to search urgently. And across from leptin, in the appetite conversation, is ghrelin. Ghrelin is often described as part of the hunger signal. It rises before meals. It helps tell the brain that food would be useful. It gives a kind of forward motion to appetite. Again, not a switch, not a villain. Just one signal in the living orchestra of energy regulation. But when sleep is shortened, controlled human studies suggest that this conversation can shift. In one small crossover study of healthy young men, 2 nights of restricted sleep were associated with lower leptin, higher ghrelin, higher hunger, and higher appetite. The numbers are worth hearing once, gently. Leptin fell by about 18%. Ghrelin rose by about 28%. Hunger rose by about 24%. Appetite rose by about 23%. And the appetite for calorie-dense, high-carbohydrate foods rose even more. That was a small study. It was done in young men. It does not mean every person will respond the same way after every bad night. But it gives us a clear window into the direction of the body after sleep has been cut short. The enough signal can soften. The go find food signal can grow louder. And the foods that promise quick energy can begin to glow. This is why the morning after poor sleep can feel different from ordinary hunger. Ordinary hunger has a shape. It rises. It can be noticed. It can often wait for breakfast or lunch or the next steady meal. But post-poor sleep hunger can have an unsettled quality. It can feel impatient. It may arrive before the day has earned it. It may come with a searchlight quality, moving around the kitchen, checking the counter, the pantry, the refrigerator shelf. It is not only asking whether the stomach is empty, it is asking whether the whole system has enough energy to face the day. This same general pattern has also appeared outside the laboratory. In the Wisconsin sleep cohort, a larger observational study, shorter sleep was associated with lower leptin and higher ghrelin, even after accounting for body mass index. People reporting 5 hours of sleep compared with 8 were predicted to have lower leptin and higher ghrelin. Because this kind of study is observational, it cannot prove that short sleep alone caused the hormone differences. Life is complicated. People who sleep less may also be carrying different stress, different schedules, different eating patterns, different health conditions. But the direction fits with what controlled sleep restriction studies have shown. Shorter sleep and appetite chemistry often seem to move together. And this matters because the morning after poor sleep is not happening in a vacuum. It is happening inside a body that has just spent the night making trade-offs. If you were awake for extra hours, the body used extra energy. Even lying still, wakefulness is not the same as sleep. The brain remains more active, the senses remain more open, the muscles may hold more quiet tension. The stress readiness systems may stay a little more engaged. The body is not simply doing nothing, it is paying for wakefulness. In a carefully controlled inpatient study, researchers found that insufficient sleep increased total daily energy expenditure by about 5%. That means the body did burn a little more energy when sleep was restricted. This is part of the compassionate truth. The body is not inventing the need from nothing. it may genuinely sense a higher cost. But in that same study, people ate more than the extra energy they had used. The increase in intake was especially noticeable after dinner, in the later part of the day. So the body makes a reasonable request, and then the modern food environment can magnify it. The tired system asks for fuel. The world offers concentrated fuel. The tired brain asks for something easy. The world offers food that is bright, available, sweet, salty, soft, and fast. And the appetite dashboard, still a little fogged from the night before, may have trouble reading the difference between enough help and more than enough. This is why poor sleep can feel like it changes the meaning of food. A piece of toast is still a piece of toast. A bowl of cereal is still a bowl of cereal. A sweet snack is still a sweet snack. But after a short night, the brain may give those foods a stronger signal value. They seem to promise steadiness. They seem to promise alertness. They seem to promise a way through the morning. And in one sense, the body is not wrong. Food does bring energy. Carbohydrates do raise available fuel. Meals do change the internal chemistry of the day. But the tired brain is not always asking with the clearest voice. It may be asking with a voice that is part hunger, part fatigue, part stress readiness, part reward, part habit, and part simple human comfort. To understand this more deeply, we have to move from the hormones of hunger into the brain's response to food cues. Because cravings are not only born in the stomach, they are also shaped by attention, by memory, by reward, by the brain's ability to evaluate a signal and decide how much weight to give it. Imagine the brain as a quiet control room in the morning. On a well-rested day, the screens are clear. One screen shows energy need, another shows fullness, another shows memory, what you ate yesterday, what you usually eat now, what foods comfort you. Another shows the demands ahead: meetings, errands, caregiving, driving, decisions, noise. And somewhere near the center is the ability to weigh all of it. To say, yes, we are hungry, but not frantic. Yes, that looks good, but we can choose. Yes, the body needs breakfast, but it does not need to solve the entire day in one bite. After poor sleep, some of those screens may still be working, but the control room is dimmer. The evaluative parts of the brain can be less steady. The emotional and reward responses can be brighter. Food images, especially high-calorie foods, can capture more attention, and the tired brain may not weigh the long view quite as calmly. In one brain imaging study, total sleep deprivation increased the brain's response to hedonic food images in a region involved in evaluation and reward. The stronger response tracked with greater subjective appetite. In another study, sleep deprivation was associated with reduced activity in frontal and insular regions involved in appetitive evaluation, while activity in the amygdala increased. The participants also showed greater desire for high-calorie foods. Again, these were controlled studies. They do not mean a person loses control. They do not mean the brain becomes helpless. They mean that after sleep deprivation, the balance of signals changes. The food signal becomes brighter on the screen. The weighing system can become quieter, and the foods that promise the fastest relief may seem more compelling than they would after a deeper night. This is one reason willpower is the wrong center of the story. Willpower may still matter. Choices still matter. But the choice is being made inside a different internal weather. On a rested morning, food may sit in the mind like an option. On a tired morning, food may sit in the mind like an answer. The difference is subtle, but anyone who has lived it knows it is real. You may open the pantry and not simply think, I would enjoy that. You may think, I need that. You may not say those words out loud. You may not even form them clearly. But the body leans forward. the hand pauses. The brain imagines the first bite, and in that moment, the craving has already done much of its work. Not by forcing you, but by making one option feel warmer, closer, easier, more relieving. There is tenderness in understanding this, because many people carry private shame around food, especially after a difficult night. They blame themselves for being inconsistent. They wonder why the plan that felt reasonable the night before feels so thin in the morning. They wonder why a simple choice seems harder than it should. But the body, after poor sleep, is not the same decision-making environment as the body after rest. The appetite hormones may be shifted, the reward circuits may be more reactive, the brain's evaluating systems may be less clear, and the body may be trying to pay back the cost of extra wakefulness. That is not a moral failure, it is biology shaping behavior before willpower even enters the room. There is another layer beneath this. It is not only how much food looks appealing, it is also how the body handles incoming energy once food arrives. Sleep loss has been shown in controlled research to affect glucose tolerance, insulin sensitivity, and the body's metabolic handling. In one small study, 6 nights of short sleep reduced glucose tolerance and changed endocrine patterns, including higher evening cortisol and sympathetic activity. In another randomized crossover study, experimental sleep restriction impaired insulin signaling in human fat cells. These are not claims to fear. They are not meant to make a single poor night feel dangerous. The body is resilient. It can recover. It is designed to return toward balance. But these findings help explain why poor sleep affects more than appetite alone. The body is not only asking for food differently, it may also be processing energy in a less steady way. The whole system is a little less calibrated. This is where tonight's story narrows gently back to appetite. We do not need to follow every thread of blood sugar tonight. We do not need to turn this into a lesson about fasting. We do not need to place the stress system back at the center. Tonight's story is simpler and more personal. After poor sleep, the next day can feel metabolically louder. Food can call more strongly. Fast energy can look more helpful. The brain can find it harder to hold the wider picture. And the body can be asking from a place of genuine fatigue. Those are the outer edges of the story. And now we can move closer to the way the body turns all of those signals into one simple feeling. In one sense, the body is always trying to predict. It predicts how much energy is available. It predicts how much energy may be needed. It predicts whether the day ahead is safe, steady, demanding, or uncertain. Most of this prediction happens beneath awareness. You do not wake up and calculate the chemistry of your appetite. You do not consciously measure leptin, ghrelin, glucose tolerance, reward salience, and sleep debt before deciding whether breakfast looks good. The body does the measuring quietly. It gathers signals from the stomach, the fat cells, the liver, the brain, the nervous system, and the clock inside you. Then it creates a feeling. A simple feeling. Hungry, not hungry, satisfied, still looking, comforted, restless, pulled toward something. And because the feeling seems simple, we often forget how much complexity sits behind it. A craving can feel like one thing, but it may be made from many things. Part of it may be true energy need. Part of it may be the cost of staying awake longer than the body expected. Part of it may be a lower enough signal. Part of it may be a stronger hunger signal. Part of it may be the brain remembering that a certain food brought relief before. Part of it may be the tired mind wanting fewer decisions. Part of it may be the nervous system asking for something soothing. And part of it may simply be the timing of the day, when morning light has arrived but the body has not caught up. This is why the same word, hunger, can describe different experiences. There is the clean hunger of a body ready for a meal. There is the gentle hunger that rises slowly and can be answered calmly. There is the practical hunger after physical work. There is the comforting hunger that appears when a familiar smell fills the room. And there is the tired hunger after poor sleep. That one can feel less clean. It may not arrive in a straight line. It may come with brain fog. It may come with impatience. It may come with a wish for something specific, something fast, something easy to eat, something that seems to promise a small rescue. When sleep is short, the body is not only missing time, it is missing a state. Sleep is not just hours removed from the day, it is a different biological condition. During healthy sleep, the body changes the way it manages hormones, glucose, inflammation, nervous system tone, temperature, and memory. It is not simply resting on the surface, it is reorganizing from within. So when sleep is shortened, the body is not only deprived of a pleasant feeling, it is deprived of a window of regulation. And appetite is one of the systems that notices. Imagine 2 mornings. On the first morning, sleep was deep enough and long enough. The body wakes with its signals mostly aligned. The hunger signal may rise, but it rises from a stable floor. Food looks good, but not unusually commanding. The mind can imagine breakfast without needing breakfast to solve the whole day. The day may still be busy. There may still be stress. There may still be preferences and habits. But the internal instruments are easier to read. On the second morning, sleep was shortened. Maybe it was shortened by worry, maybe by pain, maybe by a late screen or a noisy room or breathing interruptions, or a long stretch of wakefulness at 3 in the morning. The body wakes with less restoration than expected. The hunger signal may rise faster. The enough signal may be less reassuring. The reward signal may highlight food with more brightness. The brain may find planning more effortful. The body may have used extra energy staying awake, but the mind may not feel more capable. And the food that promises quick energy may feel less like a preference and more like a solution. These 2 mornings can happen in the same person. That is important. It means the person did not become a different character overnight. The biology changed. The internal conditions changed. The dashboard changed. And when the dashboard changes, the road feels different. The science around leptin and ghrelin helps make that visible. Leptin does not simply say, stop eating. Ghrelin does not simply say, eat now. They are part of a larger regulatory language. Leptin carries information about energy sufficiency over time. Ghrelin helps prepare the body for intake and can increase the pull toward food. They interact with the brain's deeper appetite centers, with reward networks, with glucose handling, with circadian timing, and with the lived environment, so we should not reduce the story too far. It is not as simple as one hormone up, one hormone down. Therefore, a craving appears. The body is more beautiful than that, more layered, more responsive. But the pattern is still useful. When sleep is restricted, the signals can move in a direction that makes appetite easier to trigger and harder to satisfy. That is the gentlest, accurate sentence. Easier to trigger, harder to satisfy, not impossible, not permanent, not hopeless, just shifted. There is relief in the word shifted, because shifted things can shift again. If a poor night can tilt appetite towards seeking, a restored night can help tilt it back towards steadiness. If a tired brain can make quick energy look brighter, a rested brain can help food return to its ordinary size. If a short night can fog the windshield, sleep can begin clearing it again. Now consider the reward side of the story a little more slowly. Food reward is often misunderstood. It is not the same as greed. It is not the same as weakness. It is the brain recognizing value. Food has value because it nourishes. Sweetness has value because it signals available energy. Warmth has value because it comforts. Fat and starch and salt have value because they speak to the body's long memory of fuel, minerals, and satisfaction. The brain is supposed to notice value. That is part of the body's care for itself. But after poor sleep, value can become exaggerated. The brain may not simply notice the food, it may lean toward it. It may assign it extra importance. It may make the imagined relief feel closer and stronger. And if the evaluative systems are quieter, there may be less space between noticing and reaching. This is why a craving can seem to narrow the room. For a moment, the food is not one object among many. It becomes the object. The mind circles it. The body imagines it. The first bite appears before the food has even been touched. The tired brain is trying to solve discomfort quickly, and food has become a clear candidate. Nothing about this requires panic. Nothing about this means the body cannot be trusted. It simply means that the tired brain is more vulnerable to bright signals. And bright signals are everywhere now. They are on counters. They are in packages. They are in advertisements. They are in drive-through windows. They are in the memory of what helped last time. They are in the ordinary pantry of an ordinary house. The body was made to notice fuel need, but it was not meant to spend every tired morning surrounded by endless quick fuel invitations. That is the mismatch. Not that the body is wrong, not that food is bad, not that hunger is shameful. The mismatch is between a protective internal signal and a world that can answer it too loudly. When the body asks for help, the world may offer more intensity than the body truly needs. For someone trying to take care of metabolic health, this can be frustrating, because the person may understand what supports them. They may know what meals help them feel steady. They may have learned what foods work well for their body. They may have intentions shaped by real experience. But poor sleep can make those intentions feel farther away. It can make the near thing louder than the wise thing. It can make comfort more persuasive than planning. And again, this is not because wisdom disappeared. It is because the tired brain has to spend more effort to access it. This is why the phrase "just use discipline" can be so incomplete. Discipline may help, structure may help, habits may help, but discipline is not floating above biology. It has to operate through biology. It has to use the brain that slept or did not sleep. It has to use the nervous system that stood down or stayed on guard. It has to use the appetite signals that are quiet or loud. It has to use the glucose handling that is steady or strained. So the kinder question is not, why did I fail? The kinder question is, what conditions was my body working under? That question brings the whole person back into view. The night before, the morning light, the stress level, the sleep duration, the food environment, the age of the body, the responsibilities of the day, the need for comfort, the need for energy, and the possibility of restoration. When we see all of that, cravings become less mysterious. They become less like an accusation and more like a weather report. There was poor sleep last night. The appetite winds are stronger today. The reward lights are brighter. The enough signal may be softer. The body may ask for more than it truly needs, because it is trying to protect you from running low. This is not permission to ignore the signal. It is permission to understand the signal. Understanding is different from surrender. It creates space. It lets you notice this is a tired body hunger. It lets you notice this craving is louder because the night was rough. It lets you notice I am not bad. I am under-rested. And sometimes that single shift changes the emotional tone of the whole day. The body relaxes a little when it is no longer being accused. The mind relaxes a little when the craving has an explanation. The nervous system relaxes a little when the morning is not treated as a moral trial. And from that softer place, even ordinary choices can become easier. We can also look at this through the lens of fuel steadiness. The body prefers rhythm, not rigid perfection. Rhythm, sleep and waking, hunger and fullness, light and dark, activity and recovery, eating and digesting, alertness and repair. Poor sleep is a disturbance in rhythm, and when rhythm is disturbed, the body may look for steadiness somewhere else. Food can feel like steadiness. The first few bites may bring a sense of arrival. Carbohydrates can feel like quick clarity. Sweetness can feel like comfort. Warm food can feel like grounding. The problem is not that these sensations are false. They may be real. Food can soothe. Food can energize. Food can bring pleasure and warmth. But food cannot fully replace sleep. It can answer one layer of the request. It cannot complete the overnight restoration that was missed. So the body may keep asking. That is why poor sleep hunger can sometimes feel oddly unsatisfied. You may eat and still feel like something is missing, because something is missing. But it may not be more food. It may be rest. It may be lower stress. It may be a slower morning. It may be the restoration that the night did not deliver. This is a very gentle distinction, and it matters. The tired body may interpret the missing thing as fuel, but sometimes the missing thing is sleep, or safety, or quiet, or a chance to come down from alertness. The appetite signal is real, but it may be carrying more than appetite. This is why sleep science belongs in conversations about metabolic health. Not because sleep replaces nutrition, not because sleep is the only lever, but because sleep changes the state from which all other choices are made. It changes the appetite conversation. It changes the reward conversation. It changes the body's handling of incoming energy. It changes stress readiness. It changes the clarity of the next morning. And when we honor sleep, we are not simply trying to feel less tired. We are supporting the conditions under which the body can listen to itself more accurately. For many people over 50, this is one of the missing pieces. They may be trying to improve food choices while ignoring the nights that make food choices harder. They may be trying to control cravings without asking why the cravings are louder. They may be trying to build metabolic steadiness while the body is repeatedly waking into metabolic noise. Again, this is not blame, it is relief, because it means the answer is not only try harder. Sometimes the answer begins with seeing the night as part of the appetite system. The night is not separate from breakfast. The night is not separate from cravings. The night is not separate from the snack that seems unusually persuasive at 4 in the afternoon. The night is upstream. Quietly upstream. Not controlling everything, but influencing much more than we often realize. And because it is upstream, its effects may not show themselves all at once. The first signal may be the morning craving, but the second signal may come later. In the afternoon, when the brain has been pushing through tasks on a shorter night. In the early evening, when the day's structure begins to loosen. After dinner, when the body should be moving towards satisfaction, but the tired system is still searching. This late-day pattern is important because many people judge themselves most harshly there. They may do reasonably well in the morning. They may hold the day together through lunch. They may make the decisions they meant to make while the daylight is strong and the schedule is clear. Then evening comes. The house changes tone. The responsibilities of the day begin to fall away, but the body has not yet found rest. The brain is tired. The nervous system may still be carrying the imprint of a poor night. The reward system is still listening for relief. And food, especially easy food, can begin to feel like the simplest doorway into comfort. This is where the science and the lived experience meet. The inpatient study showing extra intake after dinner does not need to be turned into a warning. It can be received as recognition. Many people know this pattern from the inside. Not morning hunger only, not meal hunger only, but that late day reaching when the body has used up the easiest layers of restraint and the mind wants something simple. The body is still trying to finish the problem that began the night before. It is still trying to find energy. It is still trying to find comfort. It is still trying to find a way to stand down. And sometimes, because food is available and immediate, food becomes the language it uses. There is a quiet kindness in seeing this clearly. You can look back at a difficult food day and ask a better question. Not, what is wrong with me, but how did I sleep? Not, why did I have no control? But what signals were louder than usual? Not, why did I want quick energy? But, did my body begin the day under-rested and over-signaled? These questions do not remove responsibility. They remove unnecessary shame. And when shame is removed, responsibility often becomes calmer. Less frantic, less punishing, more truthful. Because the body is not asking to be blamed. It is asking to be understood. If the poor sleep-hunger story begins in the kitchen, it may end in the bedroom. Not because the bedroom fixes everything by magic, but because sleep gives the body another opportunity to recalibrate what the day disturbed. The reward lights can dim. The hunger signal can return to its ordinary range. The fullness signal can become easier to hear. The brain's evaluative systems can come back online with more steadiness. The nervous system can shift away from the feeling that everything must be solved now. This is one of the reasons the recovery sleep finding is so comforting. After insufficient sleep, recovery sleep was associated with lower energy intake, especially from fats and carbohydrates. Again, gently. Not as a promise that one good night erases every pattern. Not as a claim that sleep alone determines appetite, but as evidence that the body responds. When rest returns, the signal environment can change. The body can stop asking quite so loudly. The brain can stop lighting food quite so brightly. The person can feel a little more space between desire and action. And sometimes that space is the beginning of peace. This is why tonight's reassurance is not empty. It is not simply, do not worry. It is, the body has mechanisms of return. The body is not locked into the morning after poor sleep. It is not trapped in the craving state. It is not condemned to read food through fatigue forever. Sleep can help restore the conditions for clearer appetite. And even before everything is restored, understanding can soften the experience. You can meet the next tired morning with more patience. You can notice the refrigerator light, the sweet craving, the louder pull, and say quietly, "This may be my body asking from a poor night." You can remember that the craving may be real without being the whole truth. You can remember that hunger may be present without being an emergency. You can remember that tiredness can dress itself as appetite. And you can remember that the deeper need may be restoration. Not punishment, restoration. The word itself belongs here. Restoration is slower than reaction. It does not scold, it does not rush. It brings systems back toward the range where they can speak more clearly. It lets the body stop shouting. It lets the brain stop searching for quick rescue. It lets appetite become information again instead of noise. And now, as the night begins to soften, let the science become simpler inside you. Poor sleep can lower the enough signal. It can raise the hunger signal. It can make food cues brighter. It can make quick energy more appealing. It can make fuel handling less steady. and it can leave the body trying to solve tiredness with food. But none of this means the body is against you. It means the body is responsive. It means the body is listening. It means the body is trying to protect energy even when the message becomes too loud. And if the body can be shifted by a poor night, it can also be supported by a better one. This is the quiet hope inside the science. The appetite system is not a stone carving. It is living tissue. It is conversation. It is feedback. It changes with light, with timing, with stress, with meals, with movement, with age, and with sleep. That can feel discouraging when the signals are loud, but it is also the reason change is possible. Responsive systems can be cared for. They can be given better inputs. They can be allowed to settle. And sometimes the most powerful input is not dramatic at all. It is not a new rule. It is not a harder promise. It is the return of a night that is dark enough, long enough, and safe enough for the body to do its quiet work. This is why a sleep science journey about hunger belongs at bedtime. Because the answer is not only found in the pantry or the kitchen or the plate. Part of the answer is here, in the dim room, in the slow breath, in the gentle lowering of alertness, in the moment when the body realizes it does not have to keep searching. Tomorrow's appetite will belong to tomorrow. Tomorrow's meals will belong to tomorrow. Tomorrow's choices will be made by the person who wakes inside whatever restoration tonight can provide. From here, the story can begin moving out of explanation and into rest. Poor sleep can make food louder. Sleep can help the body listen more clearly again, and the person inside the body deserves patience while that return takes place. So let the kitchen image return one more time, softer now. Let the refrigerator door close. Let the first half-light of morning rest on the counter. And imagine, inside the body, that appetite dashboard. One dial reads fullness, another reads hunger, another reads reward, another reads energy cost, another reads stress readiness, another reads the steadiness of fuel. After a good night, the lights are not perfect, but they are readable. After a poor night, some are too bright, some are too dim, some flicker. And the brain, trying to drive the day through a fogged windshield, may turn toward the clearest signal it can find. Food, energy, something now. The morning after poor sleep often begins long before breakfast. It begins during the night when sleep is shortened or broken. Each awakening has a cost. Each extra hour awake asks the body to remain in a state it was meant to leave. The eyes may be closed, but the brain may still be monitoring. The room may be dark, but the nervous system may still be partly on duty. The body may be lying still, but internally it is spending. It spends attention. It spends glucose. It spends stress readiness. It spends the quiet, restorative opportunity that sleep was meant to provide. And by morning, it may send a simple message upward. We need support. The problem is that the message does not arrive as a neat sentence. The body rarely speaks in sentences. It speaks in sensations. It speaks in appetite. It speaks in irritability. It speaks in the sudden brightness of food. It speaks in the strange feeling that a normal breakfast is not enough, or that something sweet would make the mind come online. It speaks in reaching. And because the language is sensation, we often misread it as weakness. But a sensation is not a verdict. A craving is not a character assessment. It is a signal. Sometimes a confused signal. Sometimes a very loud signal. Sometimes a signal amplified by the world around us. But still, a signal. When leptin softens, the enough message is less clear. It is as if one lamp on the dashboard has been dimmed. The body may still have stored energy. The person may not be in any true shortage. But the brain is receiving less of the quiet reassurance that energy is available. And when ghrelin rises, the seeking message grows stronger. Another lamp brightens, the body begins to lean toward food. It prepares the stomach, it increases the salience of meals, it adds a little pull to the thought of eating. These signals are not enemies. They are part of the body's ordinary design. They help keep us alive. They help match intake to need. They help the brain stay informed about the body's state. But after poor sleep, the balance can tilt. And when the balance tilts, the person living inside that body feels it as desire. The desire may have a particular shape. It may lean toward carbohydrates because carbohydrates offer accessible energy. It may lean towards sweet foods because sweetness is one of the clearest sensory promises of quick fuel. It may lean toward larger portions because the enough signal is not arriving as strongly. It may lean towards snacking because the body is trying to patch fatigue in small increments. And it may lean later into the day when tiredness accumulates, when decision fatigue grows, when the mind has carried too much for too long. This is one of the reasons poor sleep can show up in evening eating. The morning may begin with a pull, but the afternoon and evening can become the place where the cost is paid. The body has been working on a shorter battery. The brain has been filtering the world through tired circuitry. And by the time dinner is over, the system may still be asking. Not because it is greedy, because it is tired. Not because it is careless, because it is trying to restore. The controlled inpatient study gives this idea a useful shape. People burned slightly more energy during insufficient sleep, but they ate more than that extra expenditure. The overshoot was especially visible in intake after dinner. That is a deeply human finding. It does not describe a person who is simply making a bad choice. It describes a system whose internal need and external food environment are no longer perfectly matched. The body asks for a little more. The environment offers a lot more. The body asks for quick help. The environment offers food designed to be easy to keep eating. The body asks from fatigue. The world answers with abundance. And the person in the middle has to navigate all of it. This is why compassion is not softness in the weak sense. Compassion is accuracy. It is a more accurate description of what is happening. You are not a machine that failed to follow instructions. You are a living body trying to interpret signals after a night of incomplete restoration. The body was made with protective instincts. It notices when energy feels threatened. It notices when alertness is low. It notices when the demands of the day are approaching before the system is fully replenished. And it tries to help, sometimes clumsily, sometimes too loudly, sometimes in ways that do not match your longer-term intentions. But still, it tries to help. The brain's food reward system is part of that help. Reward is not a flaw. Reward teaches the body what matters. It helps us remember warmth, sweetness, nourishment, relief, pleasure, safety. It helps connect food with comfort and survival and care. But reward needs context. It needs the steadier parts of the brain to help interpret it. It needs sleep to restore the evaluating systems that say, this is appealing, but we can choose calmly. After sleep deprivation, brain imaging studies suggest that this balance can shift. Food images may produce stronger responses. High-calorie foods may become more desirable. Regions involved in thoughtful evaluation may be less active. Regions involved in emotional salience may become more active. In plain language, the food signal becomes brighter, and the quiet judge becomes quieter. This is not the same as losing yourself. It is not the same as being powerless. It is a change in the background conditions under which choices are made, and background conditions matter. If you have ever tried to make a calm decision while exhausted, you already know this. the world narrows. The future feels farther away. The immediate relief feels closer. The mind wants the path with fewer steps. The body wants the thing that helps now. And food is one of the oldest forms of now help the body knows. Again, not because the body is foolish, because the body is protective. Because hunger and reward and energy seeking were built into our biology as part of care for life. Because the body was made to notice fuel need and respond. The trouble is not the signal itself. The trouble is the signal after poor sleep, inside a world that can amplify it. This is why the same food can feel different on different days. After deep sleep, a sweet food may be pleasant. After poor sleep, it may feel necessary. After deep sleep, a second serving may look optional. After poor sleep, it may feel like the body is still not satisfied. After deep sleep, the mind may notice a craving and let it pass. After poor sleep, the craving may stay longer because the system has fewer quiet resources to let it fade. Sleep does not make us perfect eaters. That is not the promise. Sleep does not erase preference, habit, culture, emotion, schedule, stress, or availability. It simply helps restore the conditions under which appetite can be read more clearly. It wipes some of the fog from the windshield. It dims the lights that became too bright. It strengthens the quiet signals that say, enough. And it gives the brain a better chance to notice the difference between true hunger, tired hunger, and the search for relief. For adults over 50, this can feel especially meaningful. Not because the basic biology becomes entirely different, but because the margin can feel smaller. Sleep may be lighter. Night waking may be more common. Metabolic steadiness may feel less automatic than it once did. Stress, medications, caregiving, pain, apnea, hormones, and schedule changes can all press on the night. And when sleep is already more fragile, the appetite effects of a poor night may feel more noticeable. That does not mean the body is failing. It means the body may be asking for gentler margins, more steadiness, more respect for the night, more patience with the morning after. In this stage of life, self-blame becomes especially costly, because shame uses energy too. It tightens the body. It makes the morning feel like a verdict. It can turn a simple biological signal into a story about failure. But the better story is quieter. You had a poor night. Your appetite system may be reading the day through that poor night. Your brain may be making fast energy look more compelling. Your body may be trying to solve fatigue with fuel. And now that you know this, you can meet the signal with more calm. Not with a rule, not with a punishment, not with a lecture, with understanding. Tonight is not a food plan. There is no need tonight to decide what breakfast should be, or how many hours to fast, or what food belongs on a plate. Those questions belong elsewhere. Tonight's work is simpler. It is to soften the misunderstanding, to see that hunger after poor sleep may be a tired body's request for support, to see that cravings may be amplified by shifted hormones, brighter reward cues, and less steady fuel handling. To see that the person inside the body deserves care, not accusation. And to remember that sleep is one of the great recalibrators. Even the word recalibration is useful here. It does not suggest force, it suggests instruments being brought back into tune. Not perfectly, not mechanically, but patiently. The way a dim room allows the eyes to adjust. The way a quiet house lets small sounds find their proper size. The way a tired body, given enough safety and darkness, can begin to hear its own signals without so much static. That is what sleep offers appetite. Not control from the outside, clarity from the inside, and clarity is often enough to change the feeling of the next day. The same hunger can be met with less fear. The same craving can be noticed with less shame. The same tired morning can be understood as a signal from a body that needed more restoration, not as proof that something is wrong. That understanding does not make the body silent, but it makes the signal kinder to carry. It gives the morning a softer explanation, and sometimes that softer explanation is the first, quiet step back towards steadiness. Not by force, but by understanding, patience, deeper trust, and rest. When sleep returns, the dashboard can begin to settle. In the inpatient study, recovery sleep was associated with reduced energy intake, especially from fats and carbohydrates. That does not prove a universal rule. It does not mean one recovery night fixes every appetite pattern, but it points toward a comforting truth. The system can quiet. Signals can soften. The body can move back toward steadiness. This is the part of the story that matters at night. Not the numbers, not the laboratory details, not the exact percentage changes, though they help us see the pattern. What matters is that the body is responsive. It can be shifted by poor sleep, and it can be supported by restored sleep. It is not fixed in one state. It is not condemned by one restless night. It is not an enemy. It is a living system, constantly listening, constantly adjusting, constantly trying to return. Let the scene become quieter now. The morning kitchen begins to fade. The refrigerator light is gone. The cabinet doors are closed. The house has moved through its day. And now, it is night again. The same body that asked loudly in the morning is here with you in the dark. It has carried you through another day. It has spent energy. It has made decisions. It has interpreted signals as best it could. It has asked for food, alertness, comfort, and rest. And now, slowly, it is allowed to stop asking so loudly. Sleep is not only an escape from the day, it is a return to calibration. During sleep, the body has another chance to adjust its signals, another chance to lower the noise, another chance to reset the conversation between hunger and fullness, between energy need and energy availability, between alertness and repair. You do not need to supervise it. You do not need to solve appetite tonight. You do not need to rehearse tomorrow's choices. The body knows more than the waking mind can hold. It knows how to lower the lights. It knows how to listen inward. It knows how to move from demand toward restoration. And perhaps this is one of the most comforting things sleep teaches us. The body can ask loudly and still be worthy of trust. It can send confusing signals and still be trying to protect you. It can have a difficult morning and still move toward a calmer night. It can be tired, hungry, reactive, and imperfect, and still be designed for repair. You were built for this, not for perfect nights, not for perfect mornings, not for a life where hunger always arrives neatly and choices always feel easy. You were built with systems that notice, adjust, compensate, and return. Sometimes they overcorrect. Sometimes they ask too loudly. Sometimes they read the road through fog. But the deeper design is still restoration. The deeper movement is still toward balance. And tonight, as the room darkens, the body is being invited back towards that movement. The appetite dashboard does not need to shine brightly now. The day is not asking for decisions. The pantry is not calling. The kitchen is not lit. There is only the slow quiet of the night, and the body beneath it gradually remembering how to settle. The hunger signal can dim. The reward signal can rest. The stress readiness signal can loosen its grip. The enough signal can return to a warmer glow. And the brain can stop scanning for quick solutions. There is no need to solve the morning from here. There is no need to predict tomorrow's appetite. There is no need to make the body prove anything. Let the science do what good science can do at night. Let it remove blame. Let it make the body less mysterious. Let it turn the strange hunger after poor sleep into something understandable. A shifted signal, a tired request, a system asking for energy because the night did not fully restore it. And then let that understanding become softer, less like an explanation, more like permission to rest. Because if poor sleep can make food louder, then sleep itself can help the whole room become quiet again. Not instantly, not perfectly, but faithfully in the way living systems return. The body has done this many times before. It has moved through hunger and fullness, through alertness and fatigue, through stress and recovery, through bright signals and dim ones, through days that asked too much and nights that gave something back. Tonight can be one of the nights that gives something back. The house is quiet, the kitchen is dark, the refrigerator hums behind its closed door, and inside you, the signals do not have to shout. They can wait, they can soften, they can return to their proper size. The body is not your enemy. It is not a problem to conquer. It is a living system built to protect, repair, and return to balance when it is given sleep. So, let the dashboard dim. Let the food lights fade from glare to glow. Let the fog lift slowly from the road ahead. There will be time for morning when morning comes. For now, there is only this quiet room, this resting body, this gentle return, and the deep, patient work of sleep beginning again.